For classroom teachers, an assumed majority of the audience, assessment is a tool used to measure student learning either before, during, or after a unit of instruction. The major purpose of assessment is to garner feedback for the teacher, the student, the administration, and basically everyone working in a school, in order to enhance the lessons moving forward in the school year. While the purpose of assessment might be a very large question, it might behoove us to break down this question into multiple different purposes. Diagnostic Assessment. Diagnostic assessment is defined as assessment used to determine students' knowledge and skills before a unit of instruction. As opposed to most types of assessment, this type is used to inform the teacher of students' strengths and weaknesses, and to gather feedback primarily for the teacher. Diagnostic assessments can cover a small or large variety of topics, depending on the intended use. Formative and summative assessments.
Formative assessments and summative assessments both assess student growth, but in different ways. As Frey mentions, formative assessments provide students with feedback throughout the entire unit. This ensures students are assessed during the learning process to provide instant feedback to deepen student understandings. I often use formative assessments in my kindergarten classroom. My formative assessments that are my favorite are actually self-assessments because my students are able to note their weaknesses and their strengths. My district follows Teachers College units of reading and writing. I am often telling my students to note their weaknesses and make goals for themselves. They self-assess using rubrics to help create their own goals. This notes when they have met their goals and their weaknesses are able to turn into strengths. I am also always informally assessing students by conferring and writing notes on a conference sheet daily. I provide my students with instant feedback during the conferences and always modify my upcoming lessons to ensure instruction is adapted to the needs of my students. Different than a formative assessment, a summative assessment assigns grades to students while the stakes are high. Students are assessed at the end of each unit. As Frey states, summative assessments do not provide students with feedback, but instead only provide teachers with feedback.
Interim Assessment. Interim assessments fall somewhere between a summative and formative assessment. An interim assessment is a more focused type of assessment, used to measure students' knowledge and skills on a specific set of academic goals, typically within a particular time frame. An example of interim assessment is a district-wide benchmark assessment. This can be used formatively to adjust classroom instruction and summatively to inform program decisions. Conclusion. The purposes of assessment follow a routine: diagnostic, formative, interim, and summative. What's special about the purpose of assessment, however, is the timescale. The routine of diagnostic, formative, interim, and summative assessments can be used for an entire year of instruction. For example, curriculum-given diagnostic, unit exams, midterm exam, and state standardized tests. The routine can also be scaled back to a single unit in one classroom teacher's curriculum. For example, pretest, ticket out the door, mid-unit quiz, end-of-unit exam. While the quality of assessments can vary widely, it's imperative to understand that assessments hold multiple different important purposes, and we as educators must keep those purposes in mind while creating high-quality assessments for our students.